All right, let's continue and try to identify our light number 2. So easiest thing I think is to turn it on and turn it off from the app when walking around the house. And now I have found my light number 2. I can see that this is also a light inside the living room. So I would like to move it to my living room, and then I would like to make or change the device configuration. So now I've moved it to my living room. I press the device and I once again go to the device configuration. So first of all, remember to add a device node. This device is installed behind the wall light. Good. So we might have some lights installed on the wall, and this is hidden behind. So that's great. Now we know exactly where this device is installed. Next up, let's go to the big cogwheel here and change some settings. As you can see, there's not as many settings for this type of device here. So as we don't have all of the dimming configuration types, we only have to check the input-output mode. And we also need to check the geolocation and time zone. The geolocation should be set automatically. So the input-output settings is by far the most important settings that you need to check for this type of device. So as you can see here, when I'm pressing the button, it does not turn on. But if I press and hold the button, it will turn on. But this doesn't work. I want it to turn on and turn off every time I'm pressing the button. And this is because that this is a relay, and relays are typically set up in switch mode as default. So I want to change this from switch mode to button mode. Again, check the Shelly relay power on default. The default configuration for this device is to turn on. I would like it to turn off when the power has been down. Press save, and now it should work. So if I press the device button, it turns on. If I press the device button, it turns off, and I can still control it from the app. So this is great. It works as intended right now. Let's continue to another device. Let me go back to my room with new devices, and now I have to identify some of my push buttons from my Shelly I4. So I have this 4-button push button here, and you can see that I have 4 buttons, and I want to identify them. I want to give them better namings. So first of all, I have to identify the buttons and change the device configuration, at least change the input configuration of the devices. So let me just press and hold the upper left button here. And now you can see that there's a blue ring lighting up on the first device. So this means that this is the upper left button. I will change the naming of this device now to upper left button. At the same time, I can quickly change the room of the device. This is also inside my living room. Press next. So I can call it wall switch upper left button. That's good. And press save. So now I know that this is the upper left button here. Right. I need to change the device configuration because, as you know, this needs to be set up in button mode and not in switch mode. First of all, I would like to add a device node installed behind for push button wall switch. Good. Now we know where it's installed. Go to the device settings, go to the input settings, and change this one from a wall switch to a button mode. Now you can see when I press the device, it gives me 1 dot. When I press it 1 time, when I press it twice, it gives me 2 dots. When I press it 3 times, it gives me 3 dots. And when I press and hold, it gives me a line. So this is giving me an information if I'm pressing 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, or long push. because this device supports 4 different actions that we can program freely if we want to. So this is good for this device. Now I'll just quickly add the rest of the input devices here. So let's go to new devices. Let's identify one more. If I press and hold this one, this is the upper right button. Good. Go to settings of the device, change the room. Let's call it right button. Let's see if I use this right naming for this one. Alt switch upper right button. Let me make sure to use the right naming. Perfect. So now I have the upper right button here. I need to change the device configuration. Device node here. And go to the settings, change the input settings from switch to button. And let's check if it's working. I always check by making a double push because then it's easy to identify this is the right button and it's set up correctly now. Let me identify the last few input modules here. The lower left button here. Good. Go and change the device settings, change the room, change the name. Now it's the lower left button. Save. And once again, go give it a device node. Save. Go ahead, change the input to button mode. Let me check if it works by double clicking the device. Shows up with 2 dots, so that's perfect. Let me go back to new devices. Now I have just a couple of devices left. And let's check if this is the lower right button. Yeah, it indeed is. So let me make sure to change the room. And let me change the naming to the lower right button here. Perfect. So now I've added my Shelly dimmer. I've added my relay, giving them all namings. And I've added my, where was it? Lower right button. Sorry, this is wrong naming. I need to make it right here. Lower right button. Perfect. I need to change the device settings. So first of all, go and add a device node. And once again, go and change the input settings from a switch to a button. My LED strip is quite interesting. So here we have to make some slightly different device changes, device configuration changes. First of all, let me identify the device. And as I didn't connect any wall switches or buttons to the input of the device, I need to identify it by turning it off and turning it on inside the app. And as you can see, it switched off and it switched on. So I can control it, and now I can identify where it is installed. So go ahead, change the room of the device. So this is the LED strip inside my living room. It could be behind, underneath my couch or something like that, behind my television maybe. And press save. Now I need to change the device configuration of this device, and this is quite interesting. First of all, go ahead, add a device node. So it could be installed behind my television. Good. Now I need to go to the big cogwheel here because these are all the related settings to this type of device. And here we have something interesting. We have something called device profile. And this is because the RGBW controller can be set up in different modes. So we have the light mode. Let me show you what happens if I change it to light mode instead of RGBW mode. The device will reboot now, and it will now show up as 4 different devices. It will show up as 4 different devices because in light mode, it is set up to control 4 individual lights depending on the outputs. So for example, you can have 4 different white lights connected to this device, and you will be able to control each output individually. You can switch on each output, and you can increase and decrease the brightness individually. If I do it now, it will turn on and turn off different colors because I have been using a RGBW LED strip. So if I turn on channel 1, it turns on the red light, as you can see here. If I turn off the red light and turn on the next one, it turns on the green light. If I turns off this one and turn off the next one, it will turn off, on the white LED. And the last one is the blue LED. So obviously I have the RGBW LED strip, and I want to change the device profile from light to RGBW. We also have a RGB mode without the white light. So RGB means that it only has the RGB LED inside and no additional white LED. But I have the additional white LED, so I would like to change it to the RGBW mode. It is now rebooting, and you can see that now it shows up as only one device here. Good. When this device has been set up in RGBW mode, you can see that I have 2 different brightness that I can change. So I can change the brightness of the white channel, and I can change the brightness of the RGB channel. If I turn on both, you can see that the color is not super nice. The color is not super nice or sharp because I have the white channel on 100% brightness. So if I decrease the brightness of the white channel now to 0, you'll see that the brightness here will change and be much more intense and look much nicer. To change the color of the LED, I have to go to this tab here, and from here I should be able now to change to different colors of the LED strip. And it seems to work, and it seems to change to the right colors when I'm changing, meaning that I have most likely installed the LED strip in the correct way. So that's all good. If I want to have pure white light, I of course have to turn on the white channel and to turn off the RGB channel. And now you'll see that it's changing to pure white light. Great. Let's go to the device settings here, to the big cogwheel, and see, are there anything else that we should change on this device? There are input output modes, but obviously we don't have to change the input and output modes because I don't have any inputs connected to this device. It might be worth checking the power on default, and it is set to restore the last mode, but I wanted to turn off. So let me change that one. We also have the button fade rate here. So, but this is only something you should check if you have wired buttons connected to the device. It doesn't make sense now when I don't have it. The minimum brightness on toggle, 3%, looks good to me. Transition duration, and maybe you noticed it when I was turning on and turning off the device. It took a second. Actually, it took 3 seconds. So I think it's a bit too slow. So I'll change this to 1 second. It goes a bit faster when I'm turning on and turning off the device, but also when I'm changing between different colors. I wanted to go a little bit quicker. So let me see if I change to the blue color now. Sorry, you cannot see it because I didn't turn on the the LED channel, RGB channel. So let's see, it definitely changed a bit quicker this time. Yeah, it goes much faster, and I prefer this one. Now it's changing colors over 1 second. Looks much better to me. So that's all good for now. One thing that I'm noticing here is that there's a small icon saying no gateway. So we did actually set the gateway when we were setting up the device, but let's see if the setting were actually configured right during the setup. So I decided to use the Shelly dimmer as a Bluetooth gateway, and I decided to use my Shelly Plus 1 PM Mini, my Shelly 1 PM Mini Gen 4 as a Bluetooth gateway. So to be able to check if these devices are actually working as a Bluetooth gateway, go to the globe here, the globe icon, go to Bluetooth. And it seems like Bluetooth is activated. Okay, it seems like the devices are not assigned as Bluetooth devices, but we can assign them manually here. So let's see. Now the device is rebooting, and we assign the devices manually to this device. We can also do the same for our relay, just to make sure that we have a very good connectivity by having an extra Bluetooth gateway. The Bluetooth of this device is actually disabled. So let me enable it manually. And now the device will reboot. After rebooting the device, I will add BLE devices here. Let's see, I'll just add 4 of them. So now I have added all my Bluetooth devices to these devices. And now you can also see that there's a small icon here saying BLE observer. It might be difficult for you to see in the video, but it says for these 2 devices that they are now BLE observers. So if I go to my new devices, the icon is now removed, and it means that the devices here now have a dedicated gateway, actually 2 dedicated gateways. If I press one of my devices, I can also see here the last reporter, so the last device that they were actually reporting information to. As you can see now, we have added all of our devices to our living room because these are the right room for these devices. If I go back to my new device room, I have no devices left. I know that I've added all of my devices. So what we can do is that we can go ahead and delete this room again. So we just have to press the pen here in the upper right corner, and now we can press the trash can icon here. Now we're deleting this room, and now we have only our living room left. Go to the living room, and now we can see all of our devices here. Sometimes you might want to change the order of the devices. For example, I like to have the devices that I can control in as the first devices. The wall switches here, the i4 devices, and the blue wall switch buttons is just input modules, basically. Some switches. They are not really doing anything good for me here. So I will change the order so I have my controlling devices as the first devices. So this looks good to me. Maybe I would like to add my H&T and my Blue Motion as some of the first devices. So I have my i4 devices here, and then my Shelly Blue Wall Switch 4 devices as the last devices. Perfect.